How y'all doing?
Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Naomi J, and it's been a while since I recorded a video. And I know people have been asking me, where have you been? Where have you been, girl? It's been like 4 or 5 months at this point. And honestly, it's been a fight, a tussle, trying to figure out what I want to do next with this channel. So, fun facts, I know it's probably gonna, I don't want to say it's gonna hurt to hear, I don't know, but because it's not that serious. But I actually recorded Barbie. Like, I was doing the new Barbie movie that came out last year, and I did a whole reaction to it and everything. Whole reaction to it. Yeah. Was about to edit it and everything. Like, literally had the first clip ready to go. Like, the first couple clips ready to go. Ready, set, on your mark, get set, go. And I felt God was like, no, I don't want you to do that. And I was like, ah. All this time, the pain, the torture, the torments, like all this time, I put effort. And y'all know I put hella time and effort into these videos. Like, recording movie reactions is not easy. Like, it takes a lot of hours. Like, there were times where if I had nothing else to do that day, I could just sit for 12, 14 hours in one sitting and just edit it. But it was stressful. Like, I'll have a headache because staring at the screen for a while. And then when I have a full-time job, I had to kind of like sparse it out. So I wasn't really having much weekends. Like, your girl was working hard, okay? So I guess God was like, relax. I need you to relax, because like my mind always goes a mile a minute. I'm like, oh, if I stop now, I'm never gonna succeed at this if I don't do the blah, 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 blah. So I'm just like, God was just like, no, I need you to relax. And so now I'm no longer doing movie reactions, at least for now. I might do it next year, depending on what me and God discuss. But yeah, I'm not doing movie reactions for now. But for now, I think I'll do like movie reviews. I'm gonna start doing like tier lists and stuff like that, like tier ranking, because I love me a good trope. And I'm gonna also start talking about books and TV shows on here, like I've been meaning to for the longest. Okay, if y'all remember my first, my OGs from the beginning, y'all know before I deleted that video, y'all know I had a Vampire Diaries review. So I had that review. So I haven't done a review in a long time, so I'm kind of like nervous about doing this. But I had that review. It did pretty well, all things considering. It was like 3 years ago when I first started this channel. But I had to delete that video because as a Christian, I no longer align with those views, with that show anymore. And come to find out, y'all, they was doing real spells in the show. So look, I've been through hell enough already. I don't need no spells coming through my screen. I don't need no spells coming through my screen. We already suffered the pain, the torture, the torment just by life alone. I don't want to add extra onto that. No thank you. I will not have that extra serving. So I had to delete that video, y'all. But granted, I did enjoy talking about it at the time. So I think reviews might sort of be my niche now. So we don't know. But I say all this to say, all the stress that came with like doing movie reactions and just having multiple jobs and just everything like that, I felt like my anxiety was kind of like skyrocketing a bit. So even though the crazy thing is, like, I didn't assess it for myself. It was definitely Holy Spirit being like, I need you to slow down. So, which brings me to the movie review I'm going to be doing today, which is Inside Out 2. Yay! Child, I'm a little rusty, so don't judge me. But I'm gonna bring out my phone. I took some notes. Let's bring out our handy dandy notes app. Or I should say Google Docs, because it's really my Google Docs. But anyway, I watched Inside Out 2, actually solo. I had a solo movie date because I was just in the mood to watch it. I've been wanting to watch Inside Out 2 for the longest because I watched the first one back when I was in my freshman year of college, or the summer of my freshman year of college. I was 19 years old and I watched it with my cousin. She was like 17. And we watched it together in her room. And I love that movie down. Just about like emotions being personified. Like, it was just such, one thing about Pixar, they're gonna give us good, fresh, new ideas. Like, come on now, like toys waking up, like when you leave, like, and I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, I thought that my toys did that. So I definitely used to try to sneak and be like, hey yo, are y'all waking up? Like, hold on now. But like, Pixar just always has like superb movies. So I loved the first one. It was just emotional, it was healing, it was like therapy. So I was like, oh, I know Inside Out 2, like I definitely have to watch it. I've been waiting for it for like 9 years. Like, I've been waiting for that movie for the longest. Do I think it should have took 9 years? No, but I'm not an animator, so I can't judge them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, but I'm like, really 9 years? But anyway, so I sat in that pew, that aisle. It's definitely giving pew because the movie definitely gave church. It gave sermon. It gave healing. It gave, you know what I mean? So the movie starts off with the emotions, specifically Joy, controlling the panel. Riley's at a hockey game, and so Joy's back on the panel again, controlling things and, you know, playing a little fun little game of hockey. Riley is now 13 years old. You know, she grew since like the last movies. You know, she was 11, because like that puberty, that growth spurt is gonna get you, okay? Like, now I thought I had a growth spurt, but unfortunately I stayed the same for the next 14 years. So still the same 5'3", 5'4" ish. So yeah, I didn't get taller, but my girl Riley skyrocketed, okay? She's a tall girly. So for those that haven't seen the first movie, the emotions, and this is not going to be spoiler free. One thing about me, we gonna have a spoiler. I'm not gonna lie, I like spoilers, and it's probably because of my anxiety, because I like to know what happens before I step into things. 9 out of 10, like that's just what I do. That's how I am. So if people spoil things for me, 9 out of 10, I don't mind, because I need to know that someone died. Am I gonna get connected to a character and they gonna die at the end? I need to know that, so that way I don't watch the film, because I don't want to be traumatized. Like, things like that. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I like spoilers. I do. It is what it is. Spoiler for me, because I like to know the end from the beginning. Yeah, so that's just how I am. So, but her personified emotions are joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. Those are the OGs. Those are the main core 5. It's 5, right? Yeah, girl, I can't count. So the core 5. Let's just call them the core 5. So, yeah, y'all just want to watch the first movie. I'm not gonna recap the whole first movie. I'm so sorry. I'm rusty. Please forgive me. Don't perceive me. Anyway, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going, child. So basically, it's been 2 years since Riley moved to Minnesota. Oh, not moved. She moved from Minnesota to San Francisco, and she seems to be acclimating pretty well, because in the last movie, I know I said I wasn't gonna class the last movie, but here I am. I'm unserious. So from the last movie, she was really sad. You know, she moved, you know, she was 11 years old, had to make new friends and stuff like that. So she loved Minnesota a lot, but she didn't really like San Francisco, but she tried to like, Joy was controlling the panel of her emotions, or her reactions, I should say. And basically Joy was trying to control Riley's every move. Like, she wanted her to be joyful about everything, but they realized that by trying to suppress like how she should be feeling, like she should be grieving the loss of like her friends, her old friends back at home, you know, everything that she, you know, wanted to do in Minnesota, like everything she got accustomed to. So they realized, like, and that was the thing about like toxic positivity too, because it's like sometimes not grieving properly can result in like a big blowout at the end. So which was what happened in the first movie. She, like, Joy tried to take control of everything, and she realized that there are times where it's okay to be sad, and that's where sadness came in and kind of just like helped regulate Riley and allow her to have like a healthy emotional balance. So yeah, so moving on from that. But she seems to be acclimating pretty well in this one. I'm so happy because she's now on this little new hockey team at her school in San Francisco called like the Foghorns or something like that. And her new friends, like Bree and Grace or whatever, they're a solid team for hockey. I'm not even a hockey girl, like, but from the stuff I was seeing, I said they were doing a pretty good job. So basically, Riley, Bree, and Grace do such an amazing job at their hockey game that they're in their middle school, that the high school coach decides like, oh, you guys are legit, I want to invite you to my camp. It's basically kind of like a summer camp for, you know, potential hockey athletes in high school for the girls hockey team. So it's kind of like a mini tryout to see what you got, whatever type of thing. So Riley got big things coming for her. So a new element to the movie, which I love that they did, like I love it down. So, you know, like they have the emotions and stuff like that, and they're doing this little panel to kind of like, so like each emotion will come to the front of the panel to assess how Riley should react to things. So for example, at the game, she got a foul or something like that. So that was the time sadness came and was like, oh, bummer, like we got a foul. So she's gonna go to the console and then react appropriately to that emotion. So it's like, for example, if Riley got an A in class, Joy would come up to the console and be like, hey, let's react, like we got an A. So on and so forth. Like Fear, like a scary movie, let me press the console. Like Fear would come up to the console, step up to the plate and press the console, and Riley would react with the appropriate emotion. So the new element that I love that they added, like I love it down, was all her memories. So she had like memories and everything like that. So all her long-term memories will go to this child, what is it called? Let me see. I don't remember what it's called, but it's some little I'll put a little video. I'll try to see if I can find a little video of it, but it's like, it looks like this little oasis or something like that. I can't explain it. So these memories form a new element called the sense of self. I love that down. So basically, like the sense of self, based on all of the memories that Riley has, she can assess like who she is based off those memories. So it's kind of like, I don't know what I can give as an example, but I don't know. It's kind of like a little database. Like you have everything stored, and it's like, oh, based off this database, this is potentially like, this is who I am based off of everything that I've seen. So basically what Joy does, because she can't help herself, I'm not gonna lie, but when I first saw this in the movie, I thought it was a good thing. She would take everything negative, everything bad, and like toss it to the back of Riley's mind. And I was like, shoot, I wish she had this little gadget or something where it's like, she would take all the memories, and the memories would be like shaped into like these spherical balls. Sphere and ball, the same thing, whatever. You know, sphere. So it would be shaped into this, like, it would look like a little marble. And so she would take like every bad memory, and she would literally just like put it in this little contraption, pull it, and then it gets tossed into the back of the mind. So at first I thought like, oh, that's a good idea. Like, that's a great idea, because to be honest, I wish I had that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what are my emotions doing it here? Like, y'all not doing y'all work, because to be honest, the way I wake up at night having like recollections of a bad memory, like instantaneously, it's just kind of like, hey, yo, what are y'all doing up there? Like, because I wish I could forget all these embarrassing moments. I wish, okay? All these bad memories, I wish. Sometimes I want a lobotomy. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so basically Joy takes all the bad emotions or bad memories and tosses them to the back of her mind so she doesn't forget it anymore. She said we keep the best and toss the rest. That's what she said. So she takes all like the long-term positive memories into this little, she goes downstairs, or like it's like she takes an elevator to this like or escalator, no, elevator, to this like little oasis where she like takes like a she takes like a positive memory and throws it in this like little ocean of like positive memories and stuff, or just any memory, but in this case positive memories. So she puts the little like positive memory of that day and she puts it in that little consciousness, whatever the hell. It's like a river. Like, I can't explain it. It's like this little oasis. It's just, yeah. So she puts it in there, and in that forms like a long string, and it flows up into the sense of self. So the sense of self is like, it's like to me it always looked like a little lamp, like a little, like I can't explain it. I'm gonna put a picture up of it. So it's like, yeah, I can't explain it, but it's like these strings, and then they form into like a higamajig or whatever the hell. And because of stream of consciousness, or not stream of consciousness, it comes with like a sense of self. So the sense of self, like with all these positive memories so far that they've like built for years to create Riley to who she's meant to be, or who they deem that she's meant to be. So each positive memory, like it's probably like a couple, I don't know how much, it's not all of them, but it's like a couple, and it flows into like one sense of self, one like, it's this sense of self is basically like a core element of who she is, and the sense of self says like a definitive statement, of who she is. So with all these positive things that, you know, they've contributed into adding into this oasis of memories, it becomes a sense it becomes a sense of self. It becomes like attributed to her sense of self. So with all these positive memories, her sense of self definitive statement was, I'm a good person. So yeah, so Joy, with the help of all the emotions, would pick some positive memories to kind of throw in there, and then all of it streams into her sense of self. So the good thing I love about the sense of self was, back in the first movie, I felt like the emotions really controlled like everything. Like I felt like Riley was a character, but it really felt like the emotions and then Riley. Like Riley, I felt like as a main character, she wasn't really a main character. It was really about the emotions. What I loved about this one was, with the sense of self element, sometimes they didn't even have to be on the panel, because if Riley knew who she was, she could make decisions for herself. And I was just like, okay, y'all, you better partner like Riley and the emotions. Like, it shouldn't be about the emotions controlling you, which is what I saw from the first movie. And then again, she was young. So it's like, I felt like it was very realistic, because I feel like a lot of times, I know for myself, like I used to let my emotions control me. Like every little reaction, like my emotions was gonna control me. I didn't know how to control my emotions. I didn't know how to, like, I don't know, make decisions that weren't based off of emotion. Now I'm better, thank God. So in this sense of self, is I realized that because she's getting older, she's not gonna have to rely on her emotions as much, at least with the sense of self. Because there was one scene, and this is in the beginning, when they're playing hockey. They were like, what do we do? Like, how do we make the goal? And then the stream of consciousness, I keep saying stream of consciousness, child. The sense of self kept like blinking and blinking. And then Joy was like, oh, Riley's got this. Like, she could make this decision. So it was kind of like, you don't even need the console, just because of like your sense of self is strong enough to make decisions. Like, you don't need the emotions to kind of guide you anymore. Like, I kind of like that. I kind of like that whole idea. That was kind of cool to me. This is gonna be very chaotic, so I hope y'all don't judge me. we still gonna post it. We still gonna post this because it is what it is. It's been too long. It's been a long time coming. So y'all gonna get this video. Yeah, y'all gonna get this video regardless. It is what it is. I'm not doing perfectionist Patty no more. You get what you get and you don't get upset. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm here to tell y'all right now. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully the next one will be better. So yeah, I already told y'all that Riley and her new best friends, Bree and Grace, were invited to the hockey camp or whatever. So they're, you know, so basically, you know how you get excited when you're a kid and it's like you're going to bed, kind of like a frill trip, like you wake up the next day or whatever and you're so excited. But my girl Riley can't really catch a break because in her mind, these, I don't know what to call them. Let's just call them NPCs, child. The NPCs of the emotion world. The NPCs. So they're talking about it's demo day, like I guess it's demolition, is that what it means? Because basically they came with like construction hats and stuff, chainsaws, busting up Riley's mind, busting up the place, like going crazy, like all the emotions are woken up, like, hey yo, like what's going on here, like what's going on, why are you here, like why are you breaking stuff, why are you messing stuff up? So basically they're like, oh, we gotta make space for the new emotions that's coming in, child, like we gotta like expand the console, we gotta like, they were tearing things to shreds. And so they didn't even clean anything up by the time Riley woke up. So her mind is literally a mess. Oh, first I forgot to say, so puberty bell was I said puberty bell, puberty alarm was ringing loud, and that's what broke the emotions up. And then the people from the construction site, whatever, came and tore everything apart. Excuse me. So and I like that because it's like puberty really is a mess. And when it comes to my girls, y'all already know, when that PMS hit, when you get your first, you know, when you get your first, it's kind of like, ooh, child, this is a mess. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, child, if your parent didn't teach you, or your mom didn't teach you, you probably would like Carrie. I don't know if anybody's seen Carrie here by Stephen King, but child, she thought she was gonna die. She thought she was gonna die because her mother didn't tell her. Crazy work. But needless to say, whether you know or you don't know, it's still messy regardless. No pun intended, still messy. But so basically they're like, oh, Joy's like, well, you can't just leave all this mess here. She just woke up. And they're like, oh, we'll come back after our break. So they got ladders, they got chainsaws, they got things all up in Riley's mind. I said Miley. All up in Riley's mind. So yeah, so they're just kind of like, yo, what the heck is going on? Like, how can we work? Like, we cannot work under these conditions. We can't do our job. We can't make sure that Riley has a good time at this camp. Like, what's going on? We can't make sure she has a good day. Like, what's happening here? So basically Riley wakes up and all that stuff, and her mom comes in, and the emotions realize that whenever they press the console, it causes Riley to overreact. So when Riley wakes up in the morning, like her head's foggy because they done busted up her mind, whatever. So she wakes up, and then Riley's mom's like, you still haven't packed, blah, blah, blah. So Anger's like, let me touch the console, whatever. He probably just gonna do a little grunt or a little, you know, because anger. He touched the console. All of a sudden, Riley starts spazzing. She's like, oh, shut up. Like, what are you here? Why are you always on my case? And I'm like, if this was in real life, it would have been viewer discretion advised. Okay? Because if I was Riley doing that to my parent, I fear it wouldn't look pretty, okay? It wouldn't have been like, what's going on, sweetheart? It would have been like, oh. It would have been World War III. So anyway, so I saw that. I said, ooh. Yeah, she's lucky it's a movie, because a lot of us did not have that experience of our parents just being so kind and understanding. Not saying they weren't kind, but they weren't as understanding, I will say. if you're Caribbean or black, or, you know, yeah, it's just what it is. Basically, they realized that every time each emotion tried to touch something, and it's just like she would just overreact. So just like, let's just chill out on the console for a bit until headquarters come and fix this mess. So that's what happened. So Then the girls are on their way to camp. So Riley's parents is dropping off Riley, Bree, and Grace to camp. And Riley notices like a look that Bree is giving her. And, you know, because Riley, they were all talking about how excited they were to start high school together, blah, blah, blah. And then Riley notices a shift. Well, I guess I should say disgust in Riley's mind. But still Riley notices a shift in Bree's facial expression. She's like, hey, yo, what's going on? Like, I said I was excited about high school to start together, and now you looking at me like something's wrong. Like, what are you not telling me? And so Bree's in the middle. So like they know it's, so both of the emotions in Riley and Bree's mind are like, yo, like, so Bree's kind of like, Bree's emotions are like, yo, she noticed us. She knows our look. Da, da, da. I love that little scene because it's like, as girls, sometimes we do overanalyze a look, but sometimes we could be right. Like it, you know. So basically, Riley was right. Bree was hiding something. And so Grace was like, let me just spill the tea. Like, we're not going to high school with you next year. We're getting assigned to a new high school, so you're gonna be in high school by yourself. So basically, it's kind of like the first movie where it's like she always got to do something by herself. Like I just be feeling so bad for her. Like her friends stay like leaving by no fault of their own, but it's just like dang, like you know, the emotions are kind of like dang, like we're not gonna go to high school without them. Like what's gonna become of us? Like the next 4 years gonna be mad lonely. Yeah, so they're still trying to like be cool and be like, oh well, we'll still hang out, blah 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 blah. And Riley's like, yeah, she's trying to hold it together. Sadness is trying to get to that console because she's like, look, we sad, like we not gonna be with Bree and Grace no more. Like being sad is the appropriate emotion. So they're holding her back because they're like, okay, girl, we know we need sadness, we know we need you, but don't let her cry in the car in front of her friends, child. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. Let her cry when everybody leave. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, because like that's me. Especially as a kid, like I hate crying in front of folks. Like I'm glad that they said that. So as soon as everybody left and her parents dropped her off, and you know, Bree and Grace went to like the entrance or whatever of the camp, Riley, you know, they let sadness control the console, and Riley cried for a little bit. So, and I like that because Joy was like, you know, Riley needs this. So, and I like that because it was a step up from the first one, because Joy was gripping that console tight. She was not trying to let sadness have a day in the sun at all, child. At all. She was not trying to let sadness touch that console. But she realized how important it is to let the tears flow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's therapeutic. So she's at the camp, and Riley's kind of like, I don't want to say idol, but she admires her. Like, she admires this high school hockey player. She's like the MVP. So her name is, what? I forgot her name. What's her name? Oh, Val Ortiz. So she's like the cool girl. She had like a red streak in her hair. She's just the it girl of that hockey team in that school, basically. So Riley apparently knows everything there is to know about this girl. She's so excited. She's like, oh my gosh, I know you. Like, I know your birthday. I know your favorite color. I know everything about you, girl. Like, I know you, girl. I know you better than you know yourself. So all the emotions are kind of like, hey, yo, she laying it on kind of thick. Like, they're like, oh dang. So, let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly. So yeah, so basically, she's talking to this girl, and that's when all the new emotions and stuff come in. The new emotions we have are anxiety, ennui, which is like boredom. She's like French or whatever. You have envy. She's really little, which I kind of like that they do that, because I feel like envy, because when I saw Shazam and they talk about 7 deadly sins, envy was also small too. And I feel like envy like is personified as a small being because it makes you feel small when you compare yourself to others. That's just my take on it. So envy, embarrassment, and who else? Oh, and nostalgia. Nostalgia is just this random, like, old looking, like, elderly woman, which makes sense because, like, that's how you feel like when nostalgia, because you think about the good old days. So they're like, nostalgia, you're not supposed to come back for another 10 years. So nostalgia pops up in and out from the movie at random, like probably twice in the whole movie, honestly. So she's really not that important. But we have these new emotions. Anxiety is the one that's trying to take control. Like, she's like, Joy, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. But at the end of the day, she trying to take Joy's #1 spot, to be honest. She's trying to take Joy's #1 spot. She's trying to boot the girl out of there. Like, she's taking control over everything. So basically, like, you know, they're trying to get into Val's good graces and stuff like that, because so Joy and Anxiety are kind of clashing on how Riley's hockey weekend is supposed to go, because now they just found out that Bree and Grace are no longer coming to high school with them. So they're like, we need to spend lasting memories. Joy's like, we need to spend lasting memories with our old friends because we're not going to spend as much time with them anymore. Anxieties were like, girl, this is our future. Like, we could join the hockey team, get a hockey scholarship, go to good college. Like, Anxiety's planning for the future. And I'm not gonna lie, Anxiety does feel that way. When we worry about things, when we think about things way ahead, advance in the future, we're like, oh, well, you know, it's helping us. Like, yeah, what's helping us? We're thinking about the future. No, you're worrying about the future. Like, you're just having a catastrophic way of thinking. So, but Anxiety, for the most part in the beginning, seemingly seems to be helping, because she's like, oh, I got all these little new gadgets. Oh, let me pull up my computer. It shows me everything that could potentially go wrong. So I'm here to protect her from things she doesn't see. She was just basically going like, oh, you know, each emotion has its duty. So it's like joy, you keep her happy. Sadness, you make her sad. Fear, like you protect her from things that y'all can see. But I'm the OG. Like, I'm nothing like you ever seen before. Like, I'm protecting her for things that she doesn't even see, that she doesn't even see at all. She don't see coming. I prepare her. We must be prepared. Be prepared, Scar. Okay, she's not playing with y'all. She's really trying to be prepared, which I get. As a person who has an anxious mind, I'm always thinking hella times ahead. I'm thinking 10 years ahead. High key, that's just how I am. But we're getting out of that in Jesus' name. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, so when I saw that, I said, Anxiety, child, it's me. It's me down. So she has like a whole computer of like potential things that could go wrong. Like, and she has visuals like, oh, what if they laugh at us? What if they don't like us? What if they da 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 da? So it's like, and Fear's like, oh, I'm gonna like her because like, cool. Like, you know what I mean? So that happens, whatever. So they're starting off camp, and you know, Joy's taking over the console. And my girl's kind of fumbling, because when Joy took over the console on their first day of camp, she manages to get on the coach's bad side because she goofing off too much with her friends. So the coach is like, hey, yo, we're not here to goof off. Give me your phones. Like, she took everybody's phones. And then Joy, like, still goofing off, trying to think she's making things better. She ended up making the girls do basically, like, skating lines or something like that. So they're like kind of like skating back and forth. Think of it as like suicides. I don't want to say the words, but I probably said it close anyway, whatever. But you know, like how you have to run in gym class and you have to go running back. I think that's what they call it, like, you know what I mean. So that's what it means. I'm just gonna do an expression because I don't know if I can say it for real. But yeah. So basically they had to perform skating lines, and all the girls were mad at her. So Anxiety's kind of like, Joy, like, maybe I should take over the console because maybe you don't know what you're doing. Like, so that's what it was giving. And so Anxiety takes over, and it's like, okay, since we kind of royally messed up, and the girls, the older girls and Val's clique or whatever, and the high school girlies were kind of like, yo, this girl, she finna be a freshman next year and she's already not doing a good job, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's so immature. They're talking mad-ish about her. And so Val seems to be kind of like cool. She's like, y'all, come on, don't be so hard on her type of thing. So Anxiety's like, let me take over. Let me try to salvage what happened. So she basically like, we need to get on Val's good side. Like everything Val's doing, we need to be on that side. Like, we need to be on Val's heels. We need to be on her heels. Like, that's what Anxiety was giving. Like, let's get into her good graces. Like, because like, once we're in. So basically, Anxiety kind of helped a bit. She got on Val's good side. So yeah, but unfortunately, Joy and Anxiety began to clash because Anxiety was making Riley neglect her old friends. So they decided, like, so they you know, like they do like in scrimmages and stuff like that. So they were playing like a little. It wasn't, well, I guess in this sense, it wasn't a scrimmage, but they were practicing. And so they decided to split it off into teams and stuff like that. So Riley had to choose between either being on Bree and Grace's team or Val's team, because Val did invite her. And so Joy's like, oh, let's just go with our, you know, Bree and Grace. And the sense of self that says I'm a good person and she's a good friend and all that stuff is still, you know, at the main, it's like in the center of It's in the center of her mind, basically, like in the center of like where they cohabitate. So it's there, and anxiety is like, let's go ahead and get rid of this sense of self. Because when anxiety, so basically anxiety was trying to force her to go to Val's, it was controlling the console and tried to force Riley to go to Val's team. But because of the sense of self that was like, I'm a good friend, I'm a good person, all that stuff, with all her memories of Bree and Grace, Riley in and of herself was like, she wasn't trying to budge. And anxiety's like, come on, like, what you doing? What you doing, son? And Joy's like, well, she made like, she has a sense of self where it's like, she's a good friend. Like, she can't do that to Bree and Grace. Like, her sense of self literally won't allow her to. So anxiety was like, oh, say less. She grabbed that little sense of self, broke it, like, cause it's like essentially like a bulb. It looks kind of like, that's what I'm saying. It looks kind of like a bulb, and like the stem looks like a lamp kind of thing, like a lamp, whatever. So she broke it off, and Joy's like, what the heck are you doing? Like, and she's like, well, we need to get rid of this so that way we can make a better Riley. So like, I want her to forget everything she thought of in the past, all her memories. Like, I want nothing to do with this. We're going to make new memories. We're going to make a better, new, and improved Riley. So she took off the sense of self. So now she's easy to control. Ooh. Ain't that about something? That makes sense. When you don't know who you are, anyone could control you. Anyone could tell you the sky is green. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know nothing about yourself, you don't know nothing, anyone could persuade you. Crazy. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. That was wow. I didn't even think about it that way. So basically, when she took off the sense of self, Riley was able to be easily manipulated. And so anxiety was like, come on, girl, we going to Val. And Joy was like, yo, I can't let you do this. Like, what are you doing? She took that, first of all, actually, she took the sense of self and used Joy's own contraption against her. Put the sense of self in that little contraption, pulled it, and pushed it in the back of Riley's mind. So she don't know herself. She don't know herself no more. Or the self that the old emotions created. Yeah. So that's gone. Like, so anxiety's taking over everything. And Joy's like, yo, I can't let you do this. Like, blah, blah, blah. Anxiety turned into villain, okay? Every villain is Lemons, evil. Like, the best part of my plan is no one can stop me. Like, she became a villain low-key. She was getting on my nerves. Because she was like, oh, dang, I was really looking forward to working together. Oh, and embarrassment and big self. Oh, I forgot to really talk about embarrassment. But I kind of like embarrassment and sadness. Because, like, when all the new emotions came in or whatever, embarrassment was like this big pink little guy. And then sadness was like, oh, hi, big fella. My girl was crushing it gave. So I kind of liked their little dynamic. It was kind of cute. But embarrassment was definitely giving, like, henchman at that point. Because why he done scoop all the old emotions up and then bottled them up, put them in a little jar, poked holes in it so they could breathe. Said they're not that crazy. But, and anxiety was like, oh, I was looking forward to working together, blah, blah, blah. But seems like you're getting in the way kind of thing. Like, we need a new, better Riley and y'all just don't fit. Like, all me and the new emotions on we, envy, embarrassment, like, and myself, anxiety, like, we got it from here. So they literally, like, shipped them off to this vault of, like, this secret vault. It's like, it's basically giving, like, Secret Service. So they were stuck in this little vault, and basically they're trying to figure out how to get out and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because, like, child, just getting long. But basically they managed to get out of the vault. They had this, like, character that it kind of gave Dora the Explorer to me, because, like, it was like this it's like in this, like, secret vault. These are, like, Riley's deep dark secrets. So, like, there's this thing called Bluey. I guess it's supposed to be like Bluey. I've never seen Bluey, but I've heard about it. It kind of gives me like Dora, where they'd be like, can you tell us where? So he's kind of like a cartoon character, basically, that Riley still watches even though she's like 13 now. And we're like, that's my deep secret. Like, that's one of her deep secrets. Like, you know, I still watch the show kind of thing. She don't tell nobody. And so basically how they managed to get out, Bluey, whatever, has this thing called Pouchy. It's basically like Dora's backpack. Like, it's like a a Walmart backpack basically, that all the stuff that's loaded up with things that knickknacks too, like how she got everything too, low-key. So he had like a stick of dynamite. Abel was helping him to get out that secret vault. And so Joy basically, like, everyone's kind of like trying to follow Joy, like, Joy, you got a plan? Like, how are we gonna get, like, how are we gonna get back to headquarters? Like, how are we gonna get back to, you know, what we do best? And Joy's like, yeah, I got a plan. Everybody was like, girl, no the heck you don't. And they're kind of like, yo, if Anxiety was here, I know she would have a plan. And they're just kind of like complaining. And Joy's just figuring out as she going along. So she's basically like, let's take the stream of consciousness. That's why I keep saying stream of consciousness. But like, let's take the stream of consciousness and then that's how we'll get back to headquarters. I don't remember exactly how they're gonna get to it. I didn't write the movie, so I don't know exactly. I'm not a map. I'm not the map. So basically they're gonna take the stream of consciousness and get back to headquarters. But turn to find out from like the first movie, the way that they knew originally how to get there, it got blocked off. They're making so many changes and now they're like, oh crap, we are lost. And Sadness, you know, Sadness gonna cry, child. She gonna be like, oh no, we're lost. Oh. Anger, mad as hell, like, oh, you don't know where you're going. Disgust, kind of just like, girl, like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, they're not helping. Fear is over here just scary. So they're like, what are we doing? And basically Joy got as bad as all them because she's like, they're like, oh, like, Anger's like, oh, like, she's just delusional. She stayed thinking that she got a plan type of thing. Like, she stayed thinking she know what to do, but she don't know what to do. And then he's like, she's just delusional at this point. Joy went off. She said, yeah, I'm delusional. Yes, because all y'all do is complain. Like, it's hard. I'm Joy. I have to put on a happy face all the time, but y'all are so annoying. Like, anyway, so she kind of went off on them. So one thing I did like, though, is that Anger and all of them notice that, like, Joy does not spaz like this. So, like, let's help our girl out. Let's give her some words of encouragement. So Anger was kind of like helpful, which I kind of like. A part of me kind of shipped them a little bit because I was just like, wait, well, why is this friendship kind of cute? Like, I kind of ship y'all. Like, it was kind of interesting. So yeah, so they kind of were just like, you know, it's not over till it's over. So they managed to, where were they at, y'all? I'm trying to remember. Oh, so here's what happened. So while they're trying to figure out how to get back to headquarters, they have Sadness go through that little tube, the recall tube. So the recall is when they're recalling memories and stuff like that, and this is where they're at right now. So the tube basically shoots up anything and takes it back to headquarters. So they're like, Sadness, we're gonna need you to climb through this tube and get back to headquarters, and then kind of like buzz us up when you get there. So I don't know why they had Sadness do it, but hey. But Joy had faith in my girl. She's like, look, I know what we've been through to the first movie. Like, we've been through it. Okay, girl, you can do this. You got this, girl. So Sadness is going up to the recall too. She manages to get up there really fast because Anxiety and all the emotions are trying to still get in with Val and her friends. So they tried to recall like some type of memory or something like that, because I think they were asking about Riley's like favorite band or something like that. And so they're like, oh crap, like the band that we chose is so lame to them since we're so young. Like, they don't care about that band anymore. Like, they only listen to the middle school. So we got to figure out what they like, because what they like, we'll like it too. So they're like, let's recall everything we know about like music. So as soon as they recall all the memories about music, Sadness is in that tube, and that's how Sadness like shoots up to that tube and is able to hide and stuff like that. So shout out to Embarrassment for not snitching on her. We love that. He managed to see her but still like hit her and everything like that, because yeah, I thought that was cute. So basically, while Sadness is able to go up to the recall tube, the old emotions are still kind of behind because they all can't go up there. So they're just trying to figure out alternative ways to get back. So while they're trying to get back, Anxiety just taking control, and one major thing that I believe happened was Val and the girls, you know, they're hanging out with Riley or whatever, and they noticed that in Coach's office, that there's this like red notebook. And basically they scare Riley, they scare everybody, and they're like, they scare Riley, and they're like, oh, like that notebook is like the end all be all. Like if she doesn't write a good note about you, you're not making the team in high school. Like, they basically, yeah, they kind of scared my girl Riley, and they put Anxiety into a spin because they're like, we gotta know that notebook, we gotta see that notebook, we gotta see what's in there, like we gotta see what she says about us, like are we gonna make it or not, blah blah. So yeah, while the old emotions, they're actually trying to retrieve the, I forgot to say this, they try to retrieve the sense of self from the back of the mind. So that's why they haven't gone back to headquarters yet, because they're trying to get that old, that sense of self she had back. So they're trying to get that and then go back to the headquarters. So while they're doing that, anxiety decides we cannot sleep until like we look and see what's in that notebook. We need to see what's in that notebook because that can make or break everything, whatever. So they sneak in that notebook. Everyone's kind of just like, the other emotions are kind of like, are we sure we should do this kind of thing? Envy's kind of like, yeah, let's do it. But it doesn't seem like Riley wanted to do it. She was kind of like on the fence, but anxiety pushed her, like, let's go get that notebook, girl. So she sneaks into the coach's office. She sees the notebook and realizes the coach says she's not ready. So anxiety over here is spiraling, like, what can we do? What can we do to make Riley like do well at the scrimmage coming up? Because they have this upcoming scrimmage where it's like, it's kind of like an unofficial tryout. So it's like, because Val did the scrimmage when she was Riley's age, and because she did so well, she scored like 2 goals, she was able to be on the team in high school, and she was like the first freshman to ever do it. So basically anxiety's trying to be like Val and be like, try to have Riley be like Val and be like, okay girl, like we have to push. So with all this being said, anxiety basically like is making a new Riley essentially. So every emotion, not every emotion, every memory that they're having that anxiety deems like fit to put into a little oasis to make the new sense of self, it's all people pleasing centered. It's all like, oh, we gotta like make her good at hockey, because if she's good at hockey, she'll make friends, she won't be alone. If she's a fire hawk, that's the high school team. If she's this, then you know she won't be alone. So basically she's dubbing all her old friends, everything like that, just to try to like succeed at becoming a fire hawk. Like being a fire hawk is becoming her whole personality. So with all that being said, everything that anxiety is doing forms this new sense of self, essentially, or she's trying to form this new sense of self for Riley. So basically now the old emotions, so while that's happening, the old emotions go back to the back of Riley's mind where all the negative memories are, and they find the old sense of self, whatever. So while that's happening, they're kind of distraught because they're like, how are we gonna get back? Because that recall tube is oh, I forgot about this. Anxiety got in the way. And she noticed what Riley was trying to do. She noticed that what Joy and them were trying to do. So she cut off that little recall tube. Like I said, it's going to be chaotic because it's kind of like all over the place. I can't remember at the top of my head. But one thing I forgot to mention, I did enjoy this part, was this was very real. Anxiety found out what Joy and them were trying to do, because when they went to Imagination Land, they went through Imagination Land while trying to get to the back of the mind. They realized that anxiety took over Imagination Land and had all the little NPCs drawing fake scenarios. And that's how, from the beginning, like when she had that laptop of like fake scenarios or like what could happen, potentially go wrong, she was having the NPCs work overtime, not even paying them, mind you. I don't even think they had no lunch breaks even. And it's mandated to have a lunch break. So my girl had them like making up fake scenarios. And Joy was like, nah, this is too much. Like, y'all not letting my girl sleep. Like, no. So when one of the NPCs left, she's like, let me draw some good scenarios. And basically it became like a battle of anxiety and Joy. Like, it was just beautiful to see, because anxiety's like, what if this happened? What if this happened? And Joy's like, or what if this bad thing happened? Joy's like, what if something good happens? What if something good happens? What if something great happens? And then everybody started being like, yeah, you're right. Like, and so like Riley seemed to kind of be able to like relax. It was like so beautiful to see, because she looked like, once all the positive memories were coming, she wasn't tossing and turning in bed anymore. She was like smiling in her sleep, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful to see. So I love that part. That part actually made me cry. It did, because I'm very like that, where it's like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Blah, blah. And then it's like, no, like what if something good happens? And it was just like, it was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see. So anyway, so skipping all that because I don't remember where exactly that part was in the movie, but we're getting towards the end. So all this happens and they got to the back of the mine, but unfortunately they're not successful because sadness wasn't able to come through for them because anxiety kind of yoked her up, child, and was like, yeah, no, girl, I'm gonna put you in a little bucket and you're not gonna be able to get out. Like, yeah. But embarrassment did try to pull through. He was trying to help, but somehow anxiety got the drop on sadness and she wasn't able to get the recall tube up to them because anxiety really broke it and was like, no, we don't need these old emotions. Like, we're doing fine. So anxiety's like, okay, we got the notebook, we know what to do, blah, blah, blah. We just have to try harder. She puts her last little memory into that little oasis stream, and then a new sense of self emerges, and the new sense of self says, I'm not good enough. Anxiety was shook. She was like, oh, I didn't know that. And all the people are like, oh, that's not what we wanted. Like, we don't want her to feel like she's doubting herself. Like, and so it's like that, I don't know what it is, but that I'm not good enough like rang loud. Like when I was in that theaters, I got chills because I wanted to cry because I'm just like, yo, I felt this for a long time. I felt that for a long time, like growing up, especially in high school and college, that I'm not good enough. That ish was a lot, like a lot. Like, so when I saw that, I was just like, oh my gosh. And so anxiety's like, oh no, it's fine. She did all room for improvement, but anxiety's just trying to like, she felt bad because she was like, oh, that's not what I meant to happen, but she's trying to save face and like, oh no, it's fine. She just knows that there's room for improvement. It's okay. She'll be fine. So with this sense of self, this new sense of self now where she's not good enough, everything she does, like she'll overthink. So now when she's playing hockey, this scrimmage, she keeps thinking I'm not good enough is ringing loud in her ear, which ends up causing her to like hurt her old best friend Bree or Grace to hurt Grace, her other teammates on her team, because it's like they're all technically like together, but it's like, and the scrimmage just split off into two teams. So she's on Val's team now. So she even hurt one of her old teammates, and it's like, or no, one of her own teammates and stuff like that. And so the coach is like, you're doing a bad job, like I'm putting you in the penalty box because you're just doing a lot. But anxiety's flipping out. Anxiety's flipping out. And it's like, oh my gosh, Riley, we have to score. Pushing her hard, leading her to have a panic attack. Child, that thing was, ooh, like the heart beating, like it was like just anxiety started whirling around the whole console, like looking like Static Shock, like just like a tornado. Like it was a lot. So while that's happening, the old emotions are able to kind of like get back to headquarters because they were able to use Pouchy's, you know, because Pouchy had a tool of different stuff. So they grabbed, I forgot exactly. They grabbed like dynamite or something like that, or like some explosive from Pouchy's, you know, yeah, from Pouchy. So basically, they blew up all the negative memories and stuff. So it's like essentially it created like an avalanche to get them back to the little to get them through that little oasis thing, so that way they can, because you know it's an elevator, so they go through that little oasis thing, and then they get in that elevator, and then that's how they're able to get back into the headquarters. So, but unfortunately though, all the negative memories are flowing into that little oasis, which then will cause, like, it will attribute to the new to sense of self. So it's like, it's always ever changing, always evolving. So it's like, whatever memories you put in there, it's gonna contribute to a sense of self, to a new sense of self, or whatever, or ever evolving sense of self. So all the negative emotions are just piling, and Joy's like, damn, like I was trying not to, you know, get the negative emotions. We toss it to the back for a reason, because we don't want Riley to think of these things, but whatever. But that was the only way they can get back home. So when Joy get up there, everybody get up there, they're like, they see this whirling anxiety just like wilding around this console, and Joy's like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on in my home? And Sad is like, anxiety tripping, girl. So Joy goes in there, and like into that, she's like, you know what, nobody's going through, let me go through this little tornado. She goes in there, Anxiety's just like frozen, glitching at the console. And Anxiety's like, no, Anxiety's stuck. And then Joy is like, Anxiety, stop. Like, get away from her, bro. Like, what you doing? And one thing I know, Anxiety, it's like she can't help herself. It's like, that's just who she is. Like, she's not really doing it to be evil. That's when I realized. Because when she started, she was stuck and freezing and glitching. And then a tear came down her face. I low-key wanted to cry. Because I'm just like, girl, she don't even know what she's doing. Which is like us. Like, sometimes we think we're helping ourselves. And it's like, especially for me as a Christian, I feel like I'm helping God by worrying. And it's just like, God's looking at me like, girl, like, let it go. Like, let it go. So Joy was like, you can't control who Riley is, girl. You gonna have to let her loose, set her free. And for all my Christians, we were just like, all my Christians who watched it were just like, this was definitely Holy Spirit. Because it's like, it was, to me, it was kind of giving like, Anxiety, come out of her in Jesus' name. Like, it was just like her. Like, I was just like, get out of there, set her free, let her loose, let her loose. So we was like, and me, I was hyped. Like, as a Christian, I was like, you don't have to be Christian, you know, to enjoy the movie. Because, like, I get it. Like, you know, you could relate any way you can. But as a Christian, this really spoke to me. I'm not going to hold you. I was like, let her free, let her loose, okay? Speak to that problem, okay? Speak to that problem. Come out. Anywho. So that was good to see. So Anxiety, like, let go of the console. Because the first she was glitching, she let go. And then, you know, she took, Joy kind of took Anxiety out of there. And the thing was still whirling. So Riley's still having this panic attack. So Joy was like, oh, let me put the old sense of self back. And shoot, let's get back to the old Riley. She realized that didn't work. So she has all these negative, literally all the memories. Because all the memories are there. They're trying to pile up. They're piling up and they can't get out because they're all suppressed. So Joy's like, so Anxiety was like, yeah, you're right, Joy, we can't control who she is. Joy has a light bulb moment. It's like, dang, we were trying to control who she was in the beginning because all we had was these positive memories. So we were controlling Riley the whole time. So it's like, so she took off the old sense of self and just let all the emotions kind of come out. And then you saw a lot of things where it's like contributing to the sense of self, where it's like, it was just different definitive statements. It was like, I'm selfish, I'm kind, which is kind of like us. Like, everything's always ever evolving. Like, we're still getting to know ourselves. So it was beautiful to see. She was like, I'm selfish, I'm kind, I'm a great friend, I'm a terrible friend, like, I'm not good enough, like, I get scared sometimes, but I'm brave. Like, it was just beautiful. And then Joy just looking at her face like, wow, like, our girl has been through so much. And so she just hugged a little sense of self, and all the emotions hugged each other, like, did like a little group hug. And that helped Riley with her anxiety. And that just made me want to cry, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was just kind of like, just essentially like, having people to be there for you when you're going through all these things, like, even if they were her emotions, but it just felt like it was healing. Like, it was very healing. And I was just like, it was just amazing to see. And so Riley, they were able to help Riley get out of her panic attack, and she was able to kind of like reconcile with her friends and stuff, because they were looking at her like, girl, are you okay? So they reconciled with her friends, or she reconciled with her friends. And then I love this part of the movie where it's like, Joy ended up like, I forgot exactly what it is, but it kind of like Joy was pixelizing a little bit, because Joy was like, what's going on? Like it was just like she was pixelizing. Like, it seemed like Riley was calling her to the console. And Sadness was like, oh, like, this is new. Like, and Sadness looked at Joy and was like, yo, Riley wants you. Like, she wants you at the council, which showed me, like, you can choose joy. Like, it's a choice. Like, I was just like, yo, like, I need joy today. Like, you just gotta look at you and be like, I'm calling on joy today. Like, okay, the joy of the Lord is my strength for us Christians, okay? That was beautiful to see. It's like, yes, choose joy. You can choose joy today. You can choose joy. So she chose joy, and Joy did what she did best and controlled the console. And basically, like, Riley got to enjoy hockey again. Like, she had a smile on her face, like, no worries in the world, just carefree, not caring about whether she made the team or not. She was just having fun with her friends. It was beautiful to see. So I say all this to say, like, towards the end, they got to Anxiety and Joy, and basically all the emotions got to work together. And basically anxiety, they didn't boot out anxiety completely, which I love because it shows that anxiety is a real emotion. Like, it's gonna come and go. But Joy was just kind of like, whenever anxiety got worried about something, Joy was like, okay, is that happening right now? And anxiety would be like, no. And so Joy would like have like anxiety like sit on a nice little comfy little chair and be like, anxiety, how about you relax? Let's put you in a little comfy chair. Let's focus on things that we can worry about. Like, let's focus on things that we have control over. There's no such thing worrying about things that we can't control. Which I saw that and I was like, yo, I need that. Like, I need to just think to myself, partner with the Holy Spirit, and be like, okay, can we worry about this? Should we worry about this? Can I control this? No? Okay, let's focus on things that we can control. So I loved seeing that. Like, that was so beautiful to me. So basically they're trying to figure out if Riley made it or not. And at the end, we don't know, but it could be insinuated that she did, because she looked at her phone for the results and she ended up smiling in her locker or whatever to see if she made it. And she was smiling, but we don't know if she made it or not. But I think it meant that she made it. Inside Out 3, I hope. So it was really good to see that. And I don't know, like, I really enjoyed this movie. It was 8.5 out of 10. Like, it was just beautiful to see. It was healing for me as a 28-year-old. Like, you know, it's like, I feel like this movie was for everybody. Teens, kids, adults. Like, I saw some adults in there. They were like, yo, I shed a few tears. And I'm like, yo, like, it's real. You know. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this chaotic review. It's long. It's going to be long. It is what it is. Y'all know I have the gift of gab. I talk. Hopefully my next video would be better. A little bit more structured. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm gonna post it because, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna post it. But the next video I plan on doing is a tier ranking trope list of like romance tropes. So I'm excited because we're gonna encompass books, TV, movies. I'll give you guys some recommendations and a ranking of my favorite tropes. So I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.